Everybody, welcome back to Wicked Good Sports. I'm joined by Jenny Lally to talk a little bit about Olympic women's soccer. Jenny, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing quite well. So the U.S. advances. That's exciting in a real barn burner of a game.
God.
0-0 with Australia. What were your main takeaways from this game?
Yeah, I honestly, I think my main takeaway, and we did talk about this a little bit in our last video about how, typically the U.S. team, not only wants to win, but wants to dominate and kind of, show that we are the number one team for a reason.
Sure.
And this game was interesting in the fact that tactically we made the decision to play a more defensive game.
Okay.
Because for not only ourselves, but also Australia, a tie allowed us both to advance.
Okay.
And so the 0-0 was not because, Australia defensively really held us back. We honestly were purposely playing our more defensive game ourselves.
Okay.
And by the second half, it got quite boring.
Oh, boy.
I was definitely just like, are we done?
Bit of like a gentlewoman's agreement.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Just like, all right, we cool, we cool. There were definitely some opportunities in the first half for both teams. Alex Morgan actually got the goal in the net. And unfortunately, it was offsides, which tacks on to their current streak.
5 goals.
Yes. But to be fair, this one was incredibly close. They did have to review it, and they reviewed it for a while. I thought it was close. I think if it had gone in and they reviewed it, they would have let it be called as, a goal. I think in these types of games, it's really, when it's so close like that, it's really hard to kind of be like, yeah, it's a goal, because those can be kind of really big game differences. So I honestly could have gone either way. Obviously, I'm biased that I would love it to be a goal because I love Alex Morgan and she deserves a goal, but it's
the
fine.
official stance of Wicked Good Sports is it was a goal.
It was a goal.
It was bullshit.
It was like basically she was literally
so
over
close.
by a shoulder.
Yeah.
It was like just her shoulder, and they were like, nah.
Even the announcers were like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if they had on the field called it as a goal and then reviewed it, I think they would have left it as is.
Since they called offsides.
Yeah. And honestly, this is totally unrelated, but related to offsides. If you were like me watching these games, I don't know if you've noticed if you've played or watched other games. Typically, when they call offsides, like that's it. The ball stops there. You the other team gets the ball. For like the first couple of games, I was like, why do they allow the play to continue after they've already called an offsides? Like, why don't they just stop it right then and there? They like let them play and like score. But then I was thinking about it. It makes a lot of sense because, again, close calls really could be a huge game changer, and so they allow it to play on. If it does end up being a goal, they can always review the play and see if it shouldn't have counted. So if you were curious to me, like, why do we keep playing every time, which was getting very annoying in the last game when we had 4 offsides, but that honestly was our own fault. But it made me very much notice the difference in terms of rule calling in the Olympics. But
Sure.
anyways, that was an aside that I found interesting. I'm just going to nerd out on my side over here.
So, yeah, I mean, other than that, nothing really crazy happened. Do we know who they're going to play?
Yes, so it's official. We'll be playing the Netherlands.
Okay.
Which is exciting because they're the team that we played against in the 2019 World Cup in France, where we won 2-0.
Okay.
So a rematch for them.
Looking good. Hopefully.
Well, hopefully. The Netherlands are the highest scoring team right now in the Olympics.
Okay.
One of their players, a really critical striker on their team, I think I saw somewhere that they broke the record for the most goals in a single tournament already.
Oh, wow.
With eight goals or something.
8?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if that's like her specifically or their team as a whole. Either way, they're doing very, very well for themselves. They are ranked 4th overall, so it's honestly not surprising to have this be from this team. Sure. But they will be tough to beat. Like, have no doubts.
Yeah.
It'll be a very, very difficult game. And, I think the concern I have with today's game against Australia and us making the tactical decision to play more defensively and kind of reserve our energy is kind of like the lack of momentum that gives us going into what we know will be a very, very challenging game. Mm-hmm. We lost to Sweden, unfortunately, in the first game. We obviously played incredibly well against New Zealand, but honestly wasn't a surprise, was expected.
Right.
You know, I'm a little worried that we're not going to be able to go into the game against Netherlands with kind of that momentum of like just domination that I typically expect to see from the U.S. team. And, you know, this is a new coach. This is his first Olympics with this team. And, you know, for people who have been following U.S. women's soccer for a long time, like, I feel like I could just be watching the players just like, I want to run. I want to, like, go after the ball, but I have to, like, chill. And it was very different from what we're used to from from the U.S. team as a whole. And so I'm a little worried with how that'll mess with their mindset moving into the next game. But a lot of the interviews after the game, a lot of them were just saying, like, yeah, like, this is kind of just one of those games that you just play and move on, you know? It was just something that we had to do, like, just to kind of check the box that we were, like, Gucci to get into the quarterfinals, but, like, wasn't really a game beyond that, and an opportunity to kind of rest some legs, because that is the biggest challenge of the Olympics, is how close all of the games are. But again, the benefit of the U.S. team is their depth and the fact that they have so many subs that they can pull in who are just as skilled as other players that may have started. So whether they needed that, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm a little stressed. I am predicting that they will win. And for everyone who has been following, so the games that we've been playing previously through all the groups, you advance based off of games you've won and your total points, essentially. And then for ties, goal differentials. Now in the quarterfinals, this is knockout stage. So once
just
you
like
lose...
a normal tournament.
Yeah. So if we win this game, we'll advance on... and play the winner of Canada versus Brazil.
Okay.
Both of which are really awesome teams as well. And that game will be on August 2nd. So hopefully we're there.
Hopefully we're talking about it in August. Well, we'll still probably be talking about soccer, but hopefully we're talking about the women's team.
Yeah,
for
winning.
the U.S.
But Netherlands did win their group. So they're going to be a tough team overall. But I'm hopeful. I think... hopefully making that decision to play a little bit more defensively today was the right move, and we won't look back at this being like, I wish we kind of took this as an opportunity to build some momentum and continue or rebuild that mentality of dominating on the field. But yeah, I was so worried the first half. I was like, my God, they're so slow, and this is so like kind of sluggish like Sweden. Then I realized Australia also is doing this. And at first I was like, I thought Australia needed to win, and then I looked it up and like, no, they just need to tie as well. And I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be that game. So that's what we ended up with. And yeah, not really much to talk about, honestly. I think just like the players, this is a game, we'll move on, and really now the big games begin with the quarterfinals against the Netherlands.
Cool. Well, stay right here for more women's soccer coverage. Jenny, no social media to promote.
No.
It's all right. We got way too much to promote here. You can follow me on Twitter at @theFakeBMar. This is BMARR. The channel is Wicked Good Sports, where we cover all kinds of sports. The main channel, where we do comedy and nerdy news, is... I don't really do nerdy news too much anymore. It's mostly like a comedy channel. At this point is Wicked Good Everything. Our podcast channel is Better Radio. You can find us on Twitter at Wicked Good Sport or at WG Everything on Instagram, at Wicked Good Everything on Twitch at twitch.tv/Wicked Good Everything. And on TikTok, search Wicked Good Everything. Wow. Just a disaster trying to land this plane.
Your best.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next one.